Samurai Jack is back in game form with a new action-adventure experience, Battle Through Time. It's brought to you by Soliel, Adult Swim Games, Novarama, and Cartoon Network. Today I'm going to present my initial thoughts on this action-adventure title on Apple Arcade and showcase its performance. Fair warning, I'm not very good at this game, so some of you might be cringing in the comments. Having my left hand in a cast wasn't helping either. Anyway, originally this game was announced as coming to PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC on Steam, with no mention of Apple Arcade. However, as many of you know, a few weeks ago it was confirmed that an Apple Arcade version will drop at the same time. Yay! It was one of those classic moments where you go, yes, this makes perfect sense on Apple Arcade. The cartoony anime art style and over-the-top action fits in very well with the style Apple are going for with this platform. And well, the game is here, and it's awesome. It's a great game, but it's buggy as hell. It's so buggy, and the performance is not very good across most platforms, as you will see later on in the video. I have seen that the performance is worse if you are running the iOS 14 beta, so if you're on that, maybe roll back to iOS 13, but in general, performance is not very good across all platforms. But the developer is going to put out a hotfix soon, so yeah. So if we just for a moment ignore the bugs and performance hiccups, Samurai Jack is still something special for us. It's more deep, I suppose. It can be more violent at times, despite its charming art style on display, and it probably has the most complex gameplay mechanics we've seen so far, which I'll talk about later. I believe it's also the first game on Apple Arcade to feature a dismemberment system. Mind you, there is no blood, but you can chop enemies into pieces, and it's, yeah, fantastic to see. The story here ties into the epic series final. You play as Jack, obviously, who is trapped in a strange world where time and locations blend in unusual ways. It's all being overruled by the evil mastermind, Aku. You will travel across time, meeting different characters and iconic sights from the show. The end goal is to escape and stop Aku's evil plans. While the story is, nothing amazing, I still found it engaging, and the voice acting and cinematics are really well done. You could also really see the emotion on the characters' faces in the cinematics, despite them just having a cartoony look. Do you agree? If you're a fan of the show, you'll be happy to know the original voice actors are here.
What in Sam Hoot Willie are you doing here? You are a sight for these great big sore eyes. Come here, you.
It is good to see you too, my friend.
And even for myself, I have never watched the show. I still really enjoyed the voice acting and just playing this game. It was great. I don't think you need any prior experience with the show, but I might be wrong there. A small detail I really appreciated, and I think many people would miss, is that when Jack takes damage, his outfit slowly becomes more ripped. Again, it's a small detail, but it really adds to the experience. I find it funny how many have said this is a cartoony version of Ghost of Tsushima. While they get the resemblance, they are not really anything alike. Samurai Jack does have small elements of role-playing or Souls-like gameplay, but there is no open world to explore here. It's a linear game from start to finish that mixes arcade, 3D action, and platforming. Its level structure is very similar to Spider on Apple Arcade, to give you an idea. This is just a significantly longer experience, mind you. What I really love about Samurai Jack is how advanced the combat and skill tree is. As you play, you'll earn money, skill points, and spirit points, which can be used to upgrade Jack's abilities, or you can purchase more items and weapons. But you can also pick up weapons from enemies you take down. There are so many different ways to play this game in terms of playstyles. It's very refreshing. For example, in combat you can switch in real time between a sword, hammer, spear, or maybe a club. All these weapons have their ups and downs for certain situations and enemy types, and they can break after a number of uses, but you can repair them before this happens. I found this makes you think about every decision you make here with your weapons, and you'll find you'll want to look after certain items in your inventory. It's kind of cool. Some enemies are best to fight with a heavy weapon, while smaller enemies or a large group I find are best with a sword or a club or maybe a long-range spear. That way you won't get surrounded as quickly. This game loves to throw so many enemies at you at once. It's pretty hectic and can be rather challenging, but if you can master the combat, it's super satisfying pulling off all these amazing combos and just taking down every enemy you see. You can also use ranged weapons from a bow and arrow, a handgun, machine gun, or just some other throwable weapons. I find these are most useful to take down those annoying enemies with guns, but you can also use it to push back enemies or to stop a foe that is about to hit you. You can also equip different items that will give Jack, I guess, extra abilities or powers. I believe Novarama have worked on the mobile version of Samurai Jack. I will say the touch controls are intuitive and enjoyable on the touchscreen at first, but they do get a little bit overwhelming later on. I personally would never play a game like this on the touchscreen anyway. It's much better with a controller. Or if you're on Mac, a keyboard and mouse will do just fine. In fact, it's the first game I've seen that has support for clickable left stick and right stick buttons. So you can lock on to the closest enemy and quickly switch between them. It's not always very accurate using this, but when you have a controller in hand, it does make it a lot better. But I think it does need some more work because sometimes it selects the wrong enemy and yeah. The main thing that is setting this game back is the number of bugs and performance issues. I've seen a lot of reports from this from just myself and other people online. In the first cinematic, you may have noticed the dialogue was not in sync with the visuals. It was quite funny, but I don't know why that was like that.
Is he dead?
No. And he never will be.
How dare you talk back to your father?
No, you're not my father.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
I also had 3 massive crashes on my Mac, which completely turned off my computer. Not good. The game froze on my iPad. Here, you can see the ground is not registering for a platforming section. I just fall through it. And the game would always drop frames when saving or loading a new scene. Despite those issues being honestly really annoying, I kept finding myself wanting to jump back into the game because it's just a good time and its gameplay is really addicting and satisfying. If you can put up with all those problems, I think you should still have fun here. Otherwise, maybe wait a few more days until a hotfix is put out. If you're playing on an Apple TV 4K, the performance seems to be very stable, and what I said can be pretty much ignored based on my experience anyway. Yes, the visual fidelity has been reduced here, but keep in mind, the hardware is not easy to work with here for more advanced games. For it to be playable here, I guess, is quite an achievement in my opinion anyway. Also, the Mac version offers custom graphics, which is good to optimize your performance. Anyway, who is this game for? Well, I'd say it's best for fans of the show, children, those who love tinkering with weapons, or those who just love action games where you feel super overpowered. The game does last for a number of hours too, which is good if you were disappointed by many games on Apple Arcade only being a casual experience or lasting for just an hour. But as I said, it is really held back by those annoying bugs and performance issues, so maybe wait a few days until they are fixed. Are you going to download Samurai Jack on Apple Arcade? Are you going to skip it? Have you come across any bugs or performance issues? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, dropping a like is always appreciated. And if you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications, as this is the best place to stay up to date with everything Apple Arcade. Anyway, my name's Stewie and thanks for watching.